What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris Jamel here, creator and founder of the Lifestyle NYC. And before we jump into our next interview, I definitely want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor. We finally got a sponsor for the Lifestyle NYC visual interviews. I couldn't be more excited about this brand, Scotch Porter, a brand that I love, a brand that I've been using for about 3 years now. Beard products, facial products, hair products, everything that you need as a man to groom yourself, Scotch Porter has it. I'm also very thankful to say that I have a promo code as well. So go to scotchporter.com, make your purchase, and at checkout, go to the promo code place and enter in TLNYC10 to get 10% off your first purchase. Again, Scotch Porter, thank you guys for the sponsorship. And go to scotchporter.com, go to checkout, whatever you buy, get 10% off with the code TLNYC10. Now to introduce my next guest, Lifestyle NYC, Jamane Weekes. What's going on, my brother?
Chillin', man. How you doing?
Founder and owner of Lips Cafe here in Flatbush, Brooklyn. This is a pleasure, man. This is a pleasure, bro. I've heard.
It's a pleasure to be here, man.
Absolutely. I've heard so much about the space. It's been ongoing on social media for God knows how long, and I'm finally thankful that we could absolutely just sit down and chop it up. So first and foremost, bro, how you doing?
I'm good, man. It's been a while since the last time I saw you was swag surfing. So that was cool. But I'm good, just so I try to stay level and composed through everything, through the ups and downs, because you gotta be ready for anything. So I'm just cool, just trying to keep my equilibrium right. But I'm cool, man. How you doing? You good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I mean, obviously we know what we've been dealing with the last 15 months. You know what I mean? But all things considered, I've been good, keeping my mental right, working out a lot. You know what I mean? Just kind of
Help me out, please.
Bro, I got you. My man Shot right here, he's a trainer. He personally trained at work.
I might have to come
He'll get you right.
up top where y'all at, man. Help me out, please.
How was your Juneteenth? What y'all do yesterday?
It was busy. I was here. It's crazy. Like last year, any other year, I would be like at all the spots, Prospect Park, Fort Greene, but now I have to have a certain level of responsibility. So, I was here the whole time. I tried to turn up a little after, the Nets lost. That messed up my Juneteenth a little bit.
You was just talking.
And it messed up my Juneteenth because I was supposed to be somewhere else and I wasn't there because of the game. I was watching the game and I was like, damn, I should have just been where I was gonna go. But then I hung out at Older Babel, try to unwind a little bit. And it was cool. It was good to be around my people. Good to be around this, such a beautiful time every year, to just celebrate us. I love celebrating us. I mean, we need to celebrate us every day, but Juneteenth is just an occasion that we really go on, and you really see the culture, and it's a beautiful thing. And you see the creativity. They have so much great creative events that happen around us, and it's cool. I love Juneteenth, and it's good to be a part of it because I feel like this is like now a space where people want to come through on occasions like that to to show that that this is like part of the Juneteenth culture, and that's kind of crazy when I think about it, that we're like part of that network of Juneteenth spots, and so it's cool.
Facts. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how they're gonna make that transition because they just made Juneteenth a holiday now, national holiday. So I am curious to see how that's gonna be able to transition going forward to next year and year after, whatever.
All black people off the week.
That's a
For the whole week.
That's a fact. That is a fact. So you're a Brooklyn native, born here, raised here. Talk to me a little bit about your life growing up here as a child.
Life growing up here is it's complicated. Because you're a kid, you have all your innocence. I grew up in East Flatbush. It's Flatbush, but it's really East Flatbush. I like to put that distinction out there. This East Flatbush. So you grow up, you have all your innocence about you. Your household life, and then you realize you're in Flatbush, and then you that all that comes with it, and you want to be, out there. You want to be somebody that people, know. So, and but the culture of it is so amazing, because this is East Flatbush, so, it's so Caribbean. It's like you're in the Caribbean. It's like you're in an enclave in a diaspora of just Caribbean culture. So, you have all that going for you. Even if you're not from there, you know every dialect. You could, when Haitians talking to you, how they talk, Jamaican. So that was pretty cool. And It's cool, you know, like I got everything I am is East Flatbush. Everything I am comes from those formative years and being around those people and going through those good and bad experiences and learning from that culture. And I wouldn't want to be from anywhere else, to be honest. And to be here now in East Flatbush where I used to get my haircuts, you know, by the barbers at the next door, it's all full circle, you know?
That was actually going to bring my next point as well, being that you're so firm on where you're from. And I respect that so much. And I wanted to ask, like, being that you've been taught so many things growing up here, and you kind of know this place at the back of your hand. Like, were you always this sort of business-minded sort of person growing up as like a young teen? Like, was that always a thing for you?
I mean, I always wanted to do my own thing. Like from young, like when I was 6 years old, 7 years old, when the teacher would ask you what you want to be, I always said like entrepreneur. I didn't even know what that was, but I always said like entrepreneur, and I just for a long time I think I was like I was really mentally drained and mentally just exhausted because I didn't know what that was for me. I didn't know what I was supposed to do. And I think I just like lashed out in a lot of different ways and did a lot of things I wasn't supposed to do because I was trying to find my way. And it's crazy now that, this wasn't planned. If you know the story behind Lips, it really wasn't like a planned thing. But I just feel like, I finally found my purpose. And that makes me calm. That makes me like more chill, than before. And it makes me more just, like I just flow through things now. And it's before I was just going crazy trying to find like what was the thing that I was supposed to do, and I just think, I'm not gonna say that I always was like wanting to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to like create something and go against the social paradigms that they tell us, like, go to college. And I did that, go to college and, rack up all those loans and go get a job and pay all those taxes and just to feed the system, and right now, like, we're making our own way, and that's a beautiful thing to me. So I kind of always had it. I just didn't know how I was gonna articulate it, how I was gonna like realize it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, no, that's a good point too, because I feel like just a young black man in general, it's hard for us to find our footing sometimes when we don't have that like real guidance or even really know where we want our lives to go. You know what I mean? So. You spoke about just being like acting out because you didn't really know how else to go about life. Like, how did that transition as you got into like your teen years?
My teen years, it's crazy. When I was growing up, my parents had me really sheltered. I went to Catholic school, so I was like in 6th grade, and I used to live around here, and I was so sheltered that I would like, until like 6th grade, I would be like, I never thought this was like the hood. Like, you know what I mean? I never thought it was like, I just was like, oh, this is just where I grew up. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, this is and that's Best Style. I was like, yo, that's like, them other spots. But then I went to 6th grade and my sister was born. And when my sister was born, my parents had to put me in public school because, you gotta take care, your little one. And then that's when like, I seen like, okay, like this is really what it is. I went to school, my pants was like above my waist. I had a tie on, I'm looking real like sharp, and everybody just making fun of me. Like, you know what I mean? Like those first couple of the weeks. When I was in Catholic school, I was the best player in basketball. I went to high school, I went to junior high, I couldn't even get on the court. You know what I mean? Like this is just like things that happen like to me. So, those teen years were really hard for me because, like, when you was talking about like, young black men and stuff, like the problem really is just mentality and resources. Like, I think we don't always have the resources. I think now, like as generations go past, we're gaining more resources because, the previous generation is just doing more. But during those teen years, it was just, I just wanted to fit in. And if it was cool to like be the person that goes to class and raise their hand and answer all the questions, I would have did that. But that's just not what was cool around here. Like, what was cool was trying to, be fly and get the girls. Yeah, and being popular and, just saying, basically F class, you know what I mean? So And so I was hanging around all the people that was popping, all the, you know, the hood dudes, and that's just where I was at that time until the point where I got in too deep that my mom sent me away. She sent me to Iowa. You know, she sent me to Iowa. You know, I'll never forget that. You know what I mean? Sent me to Iowa, and you know, that's just the lashing out was just trying to. It basically was just trying to, not always, you know, because I built great relationships and I have great friends from that time. So I won't say trying, but it was just, you know, when you're in certain places, you adapt. You know, so it was really just adapting to, you know, my environment. You know, and you know, even now, you know, I'm adapting. We're constantly adapting. We're constantly changing as people. If you're not changing, you're not growing. You know what I mean? So at that time, that was my growth. It was the wrong way to grow, but that was my growth at that time, you know, to adapt to my environment.
And I think that's a just huge testament as well to where we've seen, or where we're looking at now when it comes to a lot of our friends. Make a transition into that. You know, you went to Lincoln. We both we both got a mutual friend that went to Lincoln, Dio. Shout out to Dio, Visionary Society. You know what it is. When I told Dio I was doing this interview, Dio was like, "Man," he was like, "Jamane was a wild card, bro." He was like, "Yo, Jamane was a wild card when I met him, bro. So to see where he is now compared to when I met him is mind blowing." So like, talk about that experience. Now you've transitioned into being a young man. You're pretty much a young adult at this point in college. What was that experience like for you?
Lincoln was interesting. You know, Lincoln was interesting for a lot of different reasons. Lincoln was basically like inner city kids in college. From Philly, Baltimore, you know, New York, Atlanta, wherever you were from, it was the inner city kids. So you still had that environment. Yeah. You know what I mean? You still had that environment where it was like, you know, you know, you're not in the area you were, but you still have that mentality. You know, so everybody wanted to party, you know, everybody wanted to drink, everybody wanted to get the girls, you know, show off, or, you know, the girls wanted to be seen. You know, it was really, you know, we were getting work done, we were doing what we had to do. I mean, sometimes for me, you know what I mean? That's college. But yeah, you know, but I always say Lincoln, you know, everything, you know, has its purpose. And Lincoln, you know, there I was just, you know, you're free for the first time. Don't let Dio fool you. Dio was a wild card too. Don't let Exactly. Dio was a wild card too. He wasn't no goody two shoes out there at all. Like, you know what I mean? So Dio, you know, but you know, I met Dio there through a mutual friend now, and we just clicked, and we were always together. Like the year and a half that we were there together, we were always together. There's 4 of us. It was like 5 of us actually, and you know, and we just created like this kind of like, you know, we were just like really dope people on the campus, like us, the clique that we had. Like we were chilling with all the fraternities would come to us, like, you know, everything would come to, you know, around us, and we just created like a dope synergy on that campus. But I was wild, man. I was drinking a lot, you know, like I was partying a lot. I was, you know, and you know, we had some wild nights, some wild times that we still talk about to this day because it was so crazy. But you know, those times also helped build me because I hit rock bottom at Lincoln University, and I had to come back to Brooklyn and restructure my whole life, and I literally hit rock bottom because of the times that I was having at Lincoln. So
was this like some school related, personal related?
It was a lot of different things, you know, but I had to come back to Brooklyn and really refocus, and then that's when I really realized what I want to do, and you know, the road I want to take in my life, you know, through my experiences in Lincoln. So I always appreciate those times because they were really building blocks of my life, and I'm such a different person back then because of those moments and those hard times that I had to go through. And I'm telling you, Lincoln, that's some of the best moments of my life, some of the best years of my life, but it also like taught me like I had to grow up, you know, and through my experience in Lincoln, I grew up.
That was actually gonna be my next point, because I'm glad you brought that up, because I think it's fair to say that we all go through this transitional period where, again, we're young men from inner city, we go off to college for the first time. It's like our very first time of being alone.
Exactly.
So we got to get adapted to, fam, I don't got nobody telling me nothing.
Exactly.
I can come home when I want. I can do what I want. You know what I mean? So I think it's very fair to say that it's easy to get in trouble. It's easy to just wild out and do dumb shit. You know what I mean? But like you said, you learn from it. So like, I want to know as a businessman now, like what do you think was some of the biggest takeaways you took from those moments there?
Compartmentalizing. That's one thing. Not being able to put different things in different spaces, different boxes. And also just being able to know the way you should move in certain situations. Sometimes, like, you know, back at Lincoln, I was just very like, I just want to have a good time. But now it's like, I don't need to have a good time. I need to get things done. You know, and I just think if I would have, back then I always look back, like if I would have just been able to separate, like, you know, when I need to do serious things and when I need to have fun, you know, I would have been much better there. So now it's like, sometimes, you know, I want to do certain things, or sometimes, you know, I want to like, you know, I'm always here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always here, and people don't understand. You know, they be like, "You always here." They think, you know, I always want to be. I don't always want to be here. It's life. You know, but you know, you have responsibilities. So, I just think I'm just more responsible and more in tune with the moment and how I need to be in this moment and how I don't need to be in that moment. So, you know, sometimes we might be around each other, and I might be like that old Lincoln dude. I might be turning up. I might be cool, but I know, like, you know what? Let me stop right now. You know what? I got this to do. You know what? This is more important. You know what? These things mean more. So I'm able to put things more in categorize it. Like, you know, like this time is for this time. This time is for that time. Back then it was just all one thing. You know, and now it's just like, nah, like, you know what? I gotta be here 8 a.m. I gotta be here 7 a.m. I'm staying here till 1 a.m. You know what? That's what's most important to me. I think back then I was so into debauchery, so into like fun, and now it's like I'm more into like the mission and what I'm trying to accomplish, and that supersedes anything else. You know, so that's what I learned through those experiences, that when I hit rock bottom, I realized that if I would have just been able to situationalize things better, I would have done a lot more, and I could have still had the same fun. True. You know what I mean? But it's just I wasn't able to situationalize things like I am now.
Like priorities, you know what I'm saying? Prioritizing. Yeah.
Exactly. That's a word I was looking for that I didn't say. It's about prioritizing. Thank you for hitting me with that. I said all sorts of like high vocab words just to get to prioritizing. Like, you know what I mean? But it's about prioritizing, you know, and all of us, we all have to have a good time. We all have to be social. We all have to but we all have to understand what we really want and put that above anything. It's sacrifice. What we doing, what, you know, deal that we brought up is doing, what I'm trying to do, what everybody in this room, if you really trying to do something, you gotta sacrifice. That's a fact. You have to sacrifice. If you don't sacrifice, you're not gonna get it done. You know, so.
Risk, no reward. That's really what it is. That's a fact. All right, man. Fast forward past the troubled times. We here now, Lips Cafe. Talk to me a little bit about this. Just walk me through the timeline of what happened, because I know the situation, you was walking past the barbershop, wanted to get a cut, you saw the vacant spot. It's like, all right.
You know, it's crazy when I think about it, because I usually get my haircut like where I was living at the time. I was living in Mill Basin, a different part of Brooklyn. But he leaves at like 7 o'clock. And that night, I really needed a haircut. Like, I really had to get it. So I know from growing up here that these barbers don't leave till like 1 in the morning, like 2 in the morning. It's like a club. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a club out here. So I was like, you know what, let me go to I haven't been on, at that time I wasn't on this block in maybe like a year, 2 years. And I used to spend every day of my life around here. So I came here just to get a haircut, looking for my old barber. He wasn't there. Didn't realize at the time that he was across the street now. You know, so none of them were there, and they, you know, there was no familiar faces. So I just left. I went to another barber on it, because it's like 4 barbers. That's the thing about East Flatbush, and like, it's like 4 barbershops on this one block. Like if you look, it's like, it's crazy. Like, so yeah, so I went on the next, I literally went like 2 doors down to another barbershop, and I was like, I got a haircut, and I hated the haircut. I still look at him like, and I'll be mad over that haircut. Like, you know, when I see him, like, I'll be like, I don't say nothing, but I think about that haircut. You know what I mean? And it was cool. And then I left, and then I just was walking past, and I saw this for lease sign right here. Like, it was right where that lip sticker is. Like, right where that lip sticker is. Like, I saw the for lease sign, and like a week before that, I was at Art Basel in Miami. And I was very like inspired by so many creatives like living out their passions and just living through their creativity. Like I was so inspired by it. Man, I'm going again this year. Now they opening it back up, you know, I'm going this year. But I was so inspired by like all these people coming out there just, you know, selling their creativity, selling their work, selling their paintings. And that's really how they live their life. And, you know, I'm coming back to, you know, my 9 to 5 and stuff like that, and I just was like so inspired. You know, some people might be like, you know, just something, but I was just inspired. Like it made me like want to go for it. And I was with my friend Taylor, who used to be part of the clique with Dio and Lincoln. We went to Art Basel together, and like I remember, like I used to tell people for like a year. I didn't have no plan. I didn't have nothing. I used to just tell people because it was fit my interests. I got really into art galleries and cafes. I used to go like all around the city, like Harlem, everywhere, Queens. Every part of New York, I used to go to I used to find coffee shops that I liked and go there and spend a day. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that really was like my life. Like I used to go to those in art galleries. So I used to tell people like I'm gonna open up a cafe one day. I used to tell like everybody around me like.
They look at you like you was crazy?
They looked at me like either like I was crazy or they just like, you know, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? They looked at me, but when we was in Art Basel and I told him this, like he was like, yo, you gonna do it, watch. Like he said that the whole weekend, he was like, yo, like you gonna do this, I know you gonna do this. And so I came back and like he kind of put a battery in my back. So when I saw the for lease sign, I was just like, it's like my algorithm went on in my head. I was like, you know, I'm from this area. I never went, of all the cafes and coffee shops I went to, I never found one in East Flatbush. That's what I thought in my head. Like, you know, I was like, if there's Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights, Bushwick, Williamsburg, like every other part of Brooklyn, but there was none in Flatbush that was on the list of places I wanted to go. I was like, yo, so I was like, instead of like trying to do this somewhere else, like maybe I could do this in East Flatbush and create something that hasn't been created in my area. You know, instead of trying to go to Bed-Stuy and deal with all the other ones that's already there, you know, I wanted to do it here because I know what it's like growing up here. Going back to me growing up here, there was no outlets. There was no places to go and sit down. There was no places to get work done. You know, there was no places to like, I don't even know where the library is around here. The real talk. I don't even know if there's a library around here. The nearest library I know is like on Eastern Parkway up there by Brooklyn Museum. That's the nearest library I know. There's one on Utica that's never open. You know, it's not. I don't know why. It's never open. You know, so I was just like, you know what I mean, this is your place because you never know what people are going through. And you never know like what a seat in here could mean to somebody. You know, and I thought about all of that. And I was like, yo, if we make it dope, if we make it like a vibe, if we try to like really make it cultural instead of just this regular thing, maybe it could be something. You know, and because of like my research, you know, me going to different coffee shops and cafes, you know, I knew that it should be like themed. Like that was just my big thing for me, and there was no better theme to me that I was around than these lips, you know, that my mother created. So, you know, yeah, you know, so I went to her and I was just like, you know, let's try to make it happen for our neighborhood. Now, you know, East Flatbush is lit, you know, there's all sorts of spots now, like, you know what I mean? But at the time, like when I was trying to do this, it was still nothing. It was just a Caribbean spot, fast food, come and go. You know, because that's what we used to in the Caribbean. Like, you know, you get your split, you go home, you know. So that's really what it was. And, you know, this was really like one of the first of its kind, if not the first of its kind in this area. You know, and I above anything else, like I appreciate that. Yeah. You know, I appreciate that, you know.
All right, bro. So picking up where we left off, you was talking about your 9 to 5 and that how that kind of helped motivate you, transition you into this next phase of your life. So we can talk about Lips and you coming into business with your mom, right? You having a clear passion for coffee, your mom having a passion for fashion, essentially how the name Lips came about. What were those conversations like with your mom, like prior to this, like, because I think it's a very rare case, you know what I'm saying? So
conversations was really easy. Like my mother, if there's anybody who might have made me feel like I could do anything, it was her. You know, she been hustling forever. Like, you know, my mother a hustler. Like, yo, I swear to you, like she used to tell me stories about how she was working at Macy's and back then minimum wage probably was like $6 an hour. You know, but she found a way to put me in Catholic school. You know what I mean? Like, and back then, like my father's a hustler too, but back then my father wasn't doing what my mother was doing. You know, and so my mom was supporting the family, like when I was young. And then it changed, and then my father supported it. But when I was young, my mother was like hustling, you know what I mean? And throughout my life, I just seen her so easy, and it was like just natural in her and just a part of her to create. Like, she created, you know, fashion. Her fashion line, I mean, the Lips name really comes from my grandmother. Like, when my grandmother passed away 11 years ago now, my mom started a fashion brand in her name. That's why it's called Ethel. That was my grandmother's middle name. You know, and that's how it started. She and that day, like after my grandmother passed away, she just like left her 9 to 5 and she just focused on creating. And the reason why I got into real estate is because I seen her get a real estate license. I was like, damn, like that's how you do it? You know what I mean? So I thought you had to go to, you know, all sorts of steps and bounds, but she did it, and I was like, you know, I want to get into real estate. So my mom, like, even like jokingly, she came to me and my sister one time and said she wanted to be a DJ, and I'm like, you want a DJ? But in her mind, like, there's nothing she can't do. You know, there's this, yeah, you know what I mean? There's really nothing she can't do. So I think that kind of rubbed off on me from her. And the conversation was real easy because she always wanted to have like a store, but she just wanted to make it more around fashion. And I used to always tell her that it's hard to create, you know, a space before you have a name. You know, it's just to open up a fashion store and you don't have a name out there yet, it's like, it's just a store. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you don't have anything, you know, brands up. But if you create, you know, a space around something that maybe everybody needs or everybody gravitates towards, and then you incorporate those other things in it and make it like just an all-purpose space, then you could have that fashion in there. You know, you could have whatever you want in there. You could have the furniture you want. You could show off your creativity in so many different ways because it's an all-purpose space. You know, you're not, you know, making it so singular. That's what this is. To me, this space could be anything.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, because I noticed obviously you got like the Lips merch and everything. Like, there's a bunch of different things happening in this one space. Like, how was it working with your mom to put all of these ideas together to make sure, like you said, it was an all-purpose space?
I mean, you know, for me, the biggest purpose of the space was to create opportunities. And then, like, if I have resources, then you have resources. You know, so if we support each other, we could go anywhere. You know. So my whole thing with the space, like I said, like growing up here, there was no outlets. I've been inspired, and I've probably grown so much as a person just watching other people create in here, using this space as a vessel to create what they wanted to. Like, because I've seen people put together virtual concerts in COVID, where like people could like sit here and watch the concert in here from their computer and see all the infrastructure that goes into that, all the cameras and the lighting and and that's something I always remember, that experience. But this space is not mine. Like, this space is everyone's. I truly believe that. Somebody could come to me tomorrow and be like, yo, I want to do something here. And I would more than likely let them do it, because it's so much bigger than a dollar to me. You know, it's really so much bigger than a dollar to me. I mean, the dollars come and go, but, creating those relationships and seeing those things happen and being a bridge, you know, even it could be a tiny bridge. Like you look at that merch section over there, most of that isn't mine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like most of that isn't mine over there. Like it's other people, you know, using this as a vessel, as a resource to bring out their creativity. And that is a big thing to me. Because, you know, a lot of places you go to, you know, they make it so green, you know, about $1, you know, to do anything. And for me, it's just like, we could work together and we could both benefit from it. You know, it doesn't have to be, I think people make it so complicated and it could just really be real, you know, so. But going back to my mother, like, it wasn't really hard conversations because me and my mom, we born the same day, we best friends, like.
Oh, you and your mom got the
same birthday, we like best friends. We fight now more than ever though. We be fighting back here though. Me and her, because it's the relationship, the dynamics of the relationship change. Yeah. It's like, you know, I'm not, you know, when we out here, like I'm your son, you know, and I respect you, and I always respect her. Even back here, I respect her. You know, my mother means the world to me. But it's like when we back here, it's like,
it's business.
It's business. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, like you know, sometimes we get emotional because we both so passionate about it. You know, so but me and my mom, we always make up at the end of the day. We ride for each other. And it was really simple because we both wanted to do this. I just needed to show her my vision of how we could really use those lips, you know? And once I showed her that and she, you know, bought into it, we decided to see what we could do with it, you know? And as a family, you know, as a whole family, my sister, you know, my father, you know, as a whole family, you know, we came together and tried to make this happen, you know, so, and now we're here trying to keep it going, keep it growing. That's my motto, keep it going, keep it growing.
That's a good motto to have. Yeah, I wanted to touch on the relationship aspect that you mentioned, like being able to, you have a space where it's not just about the dollar. You know what I mean? Me and my homie was having a conversation the other day with another homie of mine who owns a store, and he was saying that in the community I live in, Mount Vernon, and he was just saying that he was having a conversation with the mayor, and the mayor was saying something to the extent of businesses are in it just for the money. There's really no community aspect of it. So it seems like, again, as we were talking, this business has boomed and everybody loves it. So like, what do you think, like, why do you think you guys have had such an impact on the community, and like, you keep people coming back, you keep people hanging out? Like, why do you think that exists?
It's very multifaceted, but in simplistic terms, it's genuine. It's genuine here. It's been genuine from day one when nobody was coming in here. It's been me and my mother. Like, I think that family, that love aspect just rubs off on people that come in here. Like, and I always treat people like, you know, when you come in here, it's a choice. You don't have to come in here. So I try to treat it like that. Like, you know, I appreciate you coming in here. You know, like I really do, because you really didn't have to come in here. I didn't make you come in here. You know, you chose to come in here. That means the world to me. That means the world to me that somebody really comes in here. Sometimes I get like, I can't believe the amount of people that come in.
Okay to get emotional, bro.
You know, real talk, but I can't believe it because I know like, you know, so many, you know, you have your thoughts, you have the way you think things are gonna go, but it doesn't have to go that way. And the fact that people really been rocking with me, like I will rock with this community forever because they rocking with me, and it's like, it touches my heart. It really does. So that's just one thing, just a genuineness of it. Two, I think I like really made strategic efforts to brand this place a certain way and to connect and network with certain people that would bring the culture that I was trying to bring here.
Okay, that makes sense.
And also, and a lot of those relationships were established before Lips, you know, visionary.
Yeah,
you know, that was way before Lips. Like, you know what I mean? Like that, this Lips and Visionary don't got nothing to do with me and Dio friendship. Like, you know, I knew him before Visionary. He knew me before Lips. And we used to sit down and talk about things like this in college, like literally, you know, so without knowing that it was gonna be called Visionary or it was gonna be called Lips. You know what I mean? Like it's that deep, like, you know, so, so, you know, things like that. And also, this has always been community to me. You know, somebody told me one time, you know, Lips doesn't serve coffee, they serve community. And that's how I value this place. Like everybody that comes in here, like you could come in, somebody came in here yesterday, they didn't have their wallet, they wanted a chai, I gave them the chai. I've seen them here before, I may never see them again, but that's just who I am. I'm not gonna be like, yo, go home, go get your chai, like, go get your wallet, like, you know what I mean? That's just not who I am. That's just a microcosm of how I treat this space. You know what I mean? Sometimes people come in here and they don't get anything. I remember this is one person I'm never, you know, in my heart that I think about when I think about, you know, this example. He used to come in here all the time. And when he first started coming in, he never got anything. And I remember sometimes my mom would be like, tell him to leave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, tell him to leave. Tell him, why is he coming here? He's not getting anything. And eventually, weeks down the line, he started getting things. And now he's one of our best customers. He comes every day and gets something. And what I look at is you don't know what people are going through at home.
That's a fact too.
You don't know what if people got it right now. Maybe they sitting there to try to get it. And that's the spot this is the spot they trying to use to get where they want to go. And I'm trying to like always be empathetic of that, you know? So this ain't a transaction to me. It's love. Like this is really love for me, you know? So.
And speaking of that too, like just in regards to people having it, like people may not have it as you mentioned, and we've been in the comforts of our homes over the last year. Sometimes people just want to escape. We haven't had the opportunities to really go places over the last year. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like now that's a fact. That's a fact. So sometimes somebody just want to go somewhere and just chill. You know what I'm saying? They might not buy nothing, but
yo, honestly speaking, some of my best friends right now I met here through COVID. Like when nobody was coming in here and we just sat here and talked for an hour until the next transaction came. Like, real talk. Like, I have really close friends. Somebody sitting right over there, like, that I met through COVID. You know, and we even have mad tight now. You know, and it's just, that's what I value. Like, the people I've met, the things I've seen, the experiences I've had through this place, more so than the money. Because the money comes and goes. You know, money comes and goes. And the more you get of it, the more you realize how just material it is. You know what I mean? It's just material. It's just there, like, you know what I mean? But everything around it is what's important, you know?
So speaking of COVID, obviously we've had a rough, 15 months so far. What are some of the biggest things you've learned in business throughout the last 15 months when it comes to this? I mean, it's a Black-owned space. We know the ups and downs of small businesses throughout the country, throughout the world. And some of them even closed down. Some of my favorite spots closed down, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, word. Yeah. So like, what have been some of the biggest lessons or takeaways over the last 15 months that you've kind of retained in regards to being a business owner?
You gotta listen to your consumers. You know, a lot of things that we have on the menu now, I didn't have before COVID. And it's like, you know, but you listen to people and they say, yo, you don't have no rice. You don't have no salads. You don't have no smoothies. You don't have no, and some people might hear that and be like, man, you know, I'm gonna do my thing. I don't care about them. I'm gonna just do what I want to do. But me, if you hear something long enough, it must be something. So, you know, I just think just the ability to listen to consumers' ability to adjust, you have to be adaptable in business because the landscape of everything changes. Especially with COVID, like that's something nobody could have predicted, and you know, and that month I sat, we were closed all of April last year. Yeah, and that month that I sat home and I really brainstormed, and I really tried to come back with a better product, and then when I came back with that product, that May that we came back was the worst month we ever had. It was worse than the opening month. That was the worst month ever. I was there like, wow, is this over? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was really there last May, like, this is crazy. This is worse than the first month, and the first month was bad. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The first month was really bad. But speaking as a Black business and the Black experience, I'd be remiss if I didn't, you know, talk about what I really feel like changed the dynamics of this space. It's 50-50, right? So we were really slow. And then, God rest his soul, George Floyd, when he passed away, I really feel like he was a martyr for Black businesses and just Black people. because it created like a roadmap. It created like a map, an invisible map for black businesses. Like, you know, after he passed, it was all these black business blogs, and this is that, and this is that, and this is the ones in your neighborhood. And maybe a lot of people, you know, in our culture didn't realize, oh, this is black owned, this is black owned. But his passing like created like this like map for black businesses all around the country. You know, in just an amazing, crazy way that, you know, no one could have predicted. And so at that time, a lot of attention was brought on us, and a lot of people started coming through that. And I just think that once they started coming, they started to try out, you know, what we had and experience the vibe, and they, you know, loved our product, and, you know, that trickles, you know, oh, yo, you know, Lips, you can go Lips, you should try Lips, you know, Lips is dope, Lips has good food, Lips has this. And so before anything, what I really feel like changed the trajectory of our business during COVID was what happened, you know, George Floyd. And after that, it was just the product that we had and just experiencing the vibe and the culture that we're trying to create. I'm very, 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 very big on keeping it us, like unapologetically. And that, you know, and some people like look at that the wrong way. It's not me saying that anyone else shouldn't come in here, because everyone comes in here. You know, every walk of life comes in here. It's just that when you come in here, you're gonna experience us. You know, and I really value and appreciate that I've never wavered from that.
I was gonna actually talk about that because I feel like a lot of black creatives, black business owners feel like they have a different obligation now in regards to whatever their business might be. You know what I mean? Like, we're seeing it firsthand, you know what I mean? So for you and your mom to be owning a business like in your hometown, like, what does that mean for you? And like, what obligations do you feel you have as like a black business owner now?
It means everything to me. It truly means everything to me. To do this where I grew up, because it's not supposed to happen. And I really feel like, you know, businesses like this, it shows what we could do. You know, someone, you know, told me that, you know, we represent hope. And I didn't take that well. I was like, yeah, you know, but I don't have customers. Like, I really have like family. Like, I have like friends. Like, honestly speaking, like for the most part, like a lot of people that come in here, like, you know, on weekends it's different. Like, you just get people. But like a lot of people that come here on a regular basis, like I've built relationships with. I've actually hung out with them outside of Lips. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're like on a different like level. You know what I mean? It's not just like, here's your chai latte. You know, it's really like we have some substance to us. So I was sitting down right there with somebody, and I don't remember who it was, but it was like, you know, you represent hope. I think it was my friend Daquan. But and I was like, what? You know, I'm not Muhammad Ali, nothing like that. We not that, you know. But he was just like, you know, to see something so close, you know, you feel like you could do it too. And to me, that responsibility is staying with me. That people are looking at us as a template to what some you know, what we could kind of be.
It's a fact.
You know, and it's important to me. Like, it's really important to me what we doing here. Like, I go crazy over the littlest things. Like, the littlest things, because it's like, it's that deep to me. You know, it's like really that deep to me, because this is kind of like an oasis. And it matters. Every little thing matters. And, you know, I'm just trying to keep this us. You know, at the end of the day, I'm trying to keep this us.
Respect that. I respect that. So, man, this is a question that I like to ask all my guests, because I feel like every person is different. Everybody's creative field is different. You know, where they're at in their lives, everything is different. How you view it is different. So based on what you're doing now, you know, based on what you guys have accomplished, what does success mean to you?
Success to me is living through your passion, whatever that is. You know, you could be a teacher, you could be working for the MTA, you know, if that's what you want to do, if you living the way you want to live and you happy with what you're doing, that's success. You know, that's success. It's not these grand things that people try to make it out to be. It's really just, because some people who have these grand things, they're the most unhappy people out there.
That's a fact.
You know, so it's just really living the way you want to live and being happy with how you living, however that is for you. Because I'm not somebody that should judge you. You gotta be comfortable in your own skin. You gotta be comfortable with how you living. That's not for me to say. So it's just whatever, you know, living through your passion, living the way you want to live. As long as it's not harming nobody, do your thing. You know, we're not supposed to judge each other. I don't judge. That's one thing I don't do. I don't judge because I'm not somebody to be judging. You know what I mean? So just, you know, success to me is just living life the way you want to live it and being happy in your own skin.
Vouch for that, 1,000%. What's next for Lips, man? What's next for Lips? You guys just got your lead PR woman over there. Shout out to Nakai. But yeah, what's next for you guys? We just entered into the second half of the year. Summer's officially here. What's going on?
Next for Lips is just, I don't want to I know what I want to say, but I'm gonna say something before I say it, you know. But what's next for Lips is just completing the vision, and it's not yet there. The next, you know, the biggest thing for me right now is to shore up a lot of the mechanisms in here, creating more of a space that people could be creative in. And, you know, I said this at the, you know, the visionary, you know, that we was both a part of. You know, my biggest thing my biggest thing with everything, my biggest thing right now is I'm about to get a liquor license real soon. And that completes my vision for this space. And my main focus right now is making sure that that goes well and that I'm providing the best experience I can for people coming in here with that, because everything else, you know, it's funny, like every time I feel like I figured it out, there's something else to figure out. You know, it's so interesting. So now I feel like I kind of figured out where we're at now, but 3 weeks from now, you know, that should be a part of Lips, and now I got to figure that out.
That's
So yeah, that's a whole nother realm. Like, you know what I mean? That's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother, and I think it's gonna really be crazy, you know, when that happens. So that's my next thing. Just that from the beginning, I really wanted that to be part of it. There's a spot, I tell you, I went to a lot of spots. It's called, I think it was Fathers Knows Best or Brothers Knows Best in Bushwick, and they had a coffee shop vibe, they had food, and they had liquor. And I always marveled at how they did that so seamlessly. So that's my next thing, to get that right. And once I get that right, then, you know, hopefully in 2022, it could be Lips number 2. And that's my thing. That's my focus. But one step at a time. One step at a time, you know? One step at a time.
And Lips number 2. That's gonna be crazy. All right, my brother. I truly do appreciate you for this.
Oh, man. Appreciate
Jamane Weekes.
This is the guy right here.
Lips Cafe.
This is the guy.
Another amazing interview. Lifestyle NYC. Shout out to Nakai. Shout out to LA. We here, man. Catch y'all on the flip side.
You already know.